What if I told you that the strength you seek has nothing to do with what you've been taught? It's not about how loud you are, but about the silence you cultivate. True strength, the strength of a warrior like Miyamoto Musashi, is forged in habits that the modern world despises. You put in the effort, but you feel fragile, at the mercy of circumstances and your own hesitation. The reason is simple. You are practicing the habits of a weak man. This knowledge is not self-help theory. It is the code of conduct of a warrior who survived over 60 duels where weakness meant death. Miyamoto Musashi's philosophy reveals that real strength is forged in 10 fundamental habits. These are what separate the strong from the weak. From the practice of productive solitude and the reflex of fearless action, to understanding why the strong treat their body like a war temple. Strength is not a gift. It is a practice. Weakness is not a destiny. It is the repetition of mediocre habits. Any man can forge his own strength. If you are tired of feeling fragile and want to build an unshakable character, pay close attention. The choice of which side you want to be on, the strong or the weak, begins with the knowledge you are about to receive. 1. Habit of productive solitude. Observe the first difference between the strong and the weak man. The weak man needs an audience. He seeks validation in the crowd, announcing his plans to reap easy applause and depending on others to stay motivated. His habits are a performance, and when the lights go out and he finds himself alone, his discipline crumbles like a house of cards. He has outsourced his willpower. The strong man, on the other hand, understands the path of Miyamoto Musashi, the Dokodo, the path of walking alone. He cultivates the habit of productive solitude, finding strength in self-reliance. Set aside a sacred time every day, be it 30 minutes or an hour, for your solitary practice. In this time, there are no phones, no external validation. It is just you and the work. The strength forged in silence is unbreakable. It is in this solitary arena that character is truly tested. The weak man seeks the company of others to flee from himself. The strong man seeks solitude to find and fortify himself. But even when alone, an even more intimate enemy presents itself: the desire for comfort, for the easy pleasure that sabotages growth. The next habit is what separates those who seek the hardness of progress from those who drown in immediate rewards. 2. Habit of cutting off easy pleasure. In the silence of his practice, the weak man is haunted by boredom. At the first sign of difficulty, his reflex is to seek escape, the comfort of an immediate reward, the infinite scroll on social media, the next episode of a series, the sugary snack. Each of these acts is a small surrender, a trade of his long-term potential for a superficial, momentary pleasure. His habits are a chain of small betrayals against himself. The strong man, in contrast, develops the habit of embracing the hardness of growth. He understands the samurai method. Discomfort is the sound of the discipline muscle getting stronger. The routine is simple. When the desire for easy pleasure arises, deliberately trade it for an act of effort. Instead of opening Instagram, read a single page of a challenging book. Instead of grabbing a sweet to 10 push-ups, you are teaching your brain that growth is more gratifying than comfort. It is a choice that defines character. The weak man lives in search of relief, and his life becomes a collection of distractions. The strong man, like Miyamoto Musashi, finds purpose in the hardness of training, and his life becomes a work of mastery. He masters desire. But even with this choice made, an even faster enemy can attack: hesitation, the paralysis that prevents action before it even begins. 3. Habit of fearless action. The weak man knows what he needs to do, but between thought and action, he creates an abyss. In that empty space, fear, doubt, and excuses take root and paralyze him. Procrastination is not laziness. It is hesitation born from fear. It is the habit of losing the battle before even drawing the sword. A silent defeat that happens dozens of times a day and drains his self-confidence. The strong man cultivates the reflex of initiative. what Miyamoto Musashi called Sen. He gives fear no time to build its fortress. Adopt this habit, the 3-second rule. The moment you identify a task to be done, you have 3 seconds to initiate a physical movement toward it. If the task is to write, your fingers must touch the keyboard. If it's to train, you must stand up. Do not negotiate with your mind, just act. The first movement breaks the paralysis. By practicing immediate action, you unite thought and deed into a single strike, becoming a force of execution. You stop being a victim of your own mind and become its master. However, by acting more frequently, you will inevitably also fail more frequently. The way the strong and the weak deal with error is what truly separates them. 4. Habit of using error as data. The weak man, upon failing, drowns in an ocean of emotions. Guilt, shame, and regret become his masters. He sees himself as a failure and uses the error as proof of his own inadequacy. His habits of self-flagellation keep him paralyzed, afraid of making the next mistake, and so he stops acting altogether. He is defeated not by the failure, but by his reaction to it. The strong man cultivates the habit of treating error as cold, impersonal data. For him, failure is not a sentence, but a teacher. The samurai method teaches to analyze the strike that didn't work with the precision of a strategist. At the moment of error, the question isn't, why am I so bad? But rather, what was the flaw in the technique? Miyamoto Musashi didn't lament a mistake. He used it to win. Extract the lesson and discard the emotion. This is the way. The weak is defined by his errors because he clings to them. The strong is built by his errors because he uses them as stepping stones. But to be able to analyze a failure with such clarity, without the fog of emotion, your mind must be calm and neutral. The next habit is that of emptying the mind of the noise of anxiety. 5. Habit of the empty mind. The mind of the weak man is an incessant storm. It's a whirlwind of worries about the future, regrets from the past, and an internal monologue that never stops. He believes overthinking is a sign of intelligence, but in reality, it is his greatest weakness. A warrior cannot hear the enemy's footsteps if his own mind is screaming. His mental habits are of pure chaos, making it impossible to focus on the present. The strong man cultivates the habit of the empty mind, the state of mushin. Before any important task, he practices the ritual of silence. The routine is simple. For 60 seconds, stop everything. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths slowly. Focus only on the sound and feeling of the air moving in and out. The goal is not to meditate, but to reset the mind, emptying it of the previous noise so you can enter the new task with total presence. The weak man is dragged along by his mental storm. The strong man learns to be the calm eye at its center. This habit of resetting the mind before action is what guarantees precision and focus. Miyamoto Musashi won because his mind was in the here and now. However, it is impossible to maintain a calm mind if the body, the temple that houses it, is in ruins. 6. Habit of honoring your own body. The mind of the weak man floats in a swamp. He abuses his body with little sleep and low-quality fuel, then wonders why his mind is foggy, anxious, and unfocused. He tries to have a mind of steel in a body of clay. It's like a blacksmith trying to forge a sword on a cracked anvil. His physical habits sabotage all his mental discipline before the battle even begins. The strong man cultivates the habit of treating his body like a temple of war. He understands that the foundation of mental strength is physical vitality. The routine is simple, but it is not easy. First, sleep is sacred and non-negotiable. It is your ritual of repair. Second, food is your fuel. You wouldn't put sand in the engine of a race car. Stop putting junk into your body. The discipline of Miyamoto Musashi began with his own physique. The weak is dragged down by the weakness of his body. The strong is empowered by the strength of his. By honoring your body with the discipline of sleep and nutrition, you are not just taking care of your health. You are forging the foundation for an unshakable mind. With a strong mind and body, you are ready to act. But the action of the strong is different. He doesn't get lost in complexity like the weak. 7. Habit of avoiding the useless weapon. The weak man drowns in complexity. He believes that more tools, more apps, and more methods will make him more productive. He spends more time organizing his to-do list system than actually doing the tasks. His tools become useless weapons, heavy, ornate, and more of a distraction than a help. His habits are of accumulation, not of efficacy. The strong man cultivates the habit of ruthless simplicity. Miyamoto Musashi was famous for his direct style. Every movement had a purpose. The routine of the strong is that of the weekly purge. Once a week, analyze your process and eliminate one tool, app, or step that doesn't directly contribute to the result. The goal is not to have the best system, but the simplest and most effective one. Strength does not come from the complexity of your weapon, but from the mastery with which you wield it. The weak is a collector of tools. The strong is a master of a few. With a strong mind and body and a simple method, your action becomes precise. But precise action without a long-term vision is just busy work. The next habit is what connects your daily strikes to victory in the war. 8. Habit of keeping a distant gaze. The weak man is short-sighted. He drowns in the small stresses and urgent tasks of the day, losing sight of the map of the war. He is like a soldier in a trench, so focused on the mud at his feet that he has no idea if he is advancing or retreating on the battlefield. His habits, however efficient in the moment, are disconnected from a larger purpose, becoming mere busy work. The strong man cultivates the habit of keeping a distant gaze. He connects every daily action to his grand strategy. The routine is that of the purpose connection. Before starting your main task, mentally connect it to your 5-year or life goal. Remind yourself why this strike, this small advance, is important for victory in the war. Miyamoto Musashi didn't see a training session as just practice, but as a step on his path to becoming invincible. This long-term perspective is a source of immense power. It makes the small obstacles and frustrations of the day insignificant. The weak man quits because today's work is boring. The strong man persists because he knows that today's boring work builds tomorrow's empire. He has a fixed gaze on the goal, but what happens when the method to get there becomes obsolete? 9. Habit of on-fixation. The weak man finds a method that works and clings to it as if it were sacred. He stops learning. When the method becomes obsolete and the results diminish, he doesn't question it. He just works harder, stubbornly, on a path that leads nowhere. His habits become his own cage, and his loyalty to the method blinds him to the need for victory. The strong man is loyal to his purpose, not his tools. He cultivates the habit of renewal, a central principle in the strategy of Miyamoto Musashi, who adapted his style to each opponent. The routine is that of the monthly analysis. Once a month, question your primary method. Am I still on the most effective path? What can I test or improve? Make one small conscious change. Constant adaptation is what keeps you sharp. The weak man breaks because he is rigid. The strong survives and thrives because he is flexible like water. This habit of questioning and renewing ensures that you never stagnate. With all these habits in your arsenal, only the most fundamental one remains, the one that sustains everything when the difficulty becomes almost unbearable, the simple, brutal habit of not straying from the path. 10. Habit of not straying. The weak man, upon encountering real difficulty, an obstacle that demands sacrifice, questions the path. Maybe this isn't for me, he says. He mistakes the hardness of the journey for a sign that he is on the wrong road. His most ingrained habit is that of quitting, of searching for an easier shortcut, never realizing that all paths to mastery are steep and difficult. The strong man cultivates the habit of not straying. He understands that difficulty is not an obstacle on the path. Difficulty is the path. The routine of the strong is a ritual for moments of doubt. Before giving up, remember your warrior's purpose, your long-term vision. Miyamoto Musashi did not become a legend by finding an easy path. but by his supernatural ability to never stop walking the difficult one. Strength, in the end, is the ability to not stop. The weak man strays and spends his life jumping from path to path, never arriving anywhere. The strong remains, and persistence transforms him into a master. With this final habit, the code is complete. The difference between the strong man and the weak is not talent or luck. It is a series of habits, and the choice of which habits to practice starting today is yours. The path has been laid out. You began this journey, perhaps seeing yourself in the habits of the weak man. Now you know the truth that Miyamoto Musashi embodied. Strength is not a gift you are born with, but a castle you build, habit by habit, in the silence of daily discipline. You no longer have the excuse of ignorance. You have the map, but having the map doesn't take you on the journey. The question that now echoes is, which man will you choose to be tomorrow morning? The one who seeks the comfort of the crowd, or the one who finds power in solitude? The one who drowns in regret, or the one who uses error as a stepping stone to rise stronger? The choice is not made with words, but with the first action you take upon waking. This dojo is not for the weak who seek comfort, but for the strong who seek themselves. If you are on this journey to forge your own strength, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Remember what you have learned here. Weakness is the path of least resistance. Strength is a path you build. Now go and build yours.